Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest, the greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. And a special shout out to our Canadian BitSquad members at the meetup today. If you went there, you're a real one. This is Around the Blockchain. We come to you Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about your favorite topics with your favorite guests. And yes, look who it is on the bottom right. We got a newcomer, but we're going to start with on top. Some call him Nacho Cheesy. We like to call him Mac and Cheesy around here. Mac and Cheesy. Make sure you're following him on Twitter, all the socials. Then on the bottom right, don't adjust your dial. We're not in a time machine. It's not 9 a.m. in the morning. That's right. It's Piano Matty B. Very, very excited to have him on. We tried last time. Some technical difficulties. I think we got it nailed down this time. Then in the bottom left, we're going to bring some of this homespun wisdom from Brad Varnell. Make sure you follow him at Crypto Brad V. And the V is standing for, hey, he's going to be making very lucrative trades. But speaking of trades, let's talk about Crypto Lifer. And we might get a hot take from him involving two rappers in the future. But first, of course, we're going to have to ask him about that market watch. But before we get into that, we're going to be talking about the Fed reversing course. Are they going to stop the money printer machine? What does that mean for Bitcoin? Also, Tornado Cash, some bad mamma jammas using that thing. What does it mean for you? A lot of ETH getting sent around. Do you need to worry if you have some tornado funds hitting your wallet? Are you going to jail is what we're wondering. And it says ETH Marge, but I don't think we're talking about The Simpsons. Maybe, is that on purpose? Sure. Okay.
It's totally on purpose.
Homie. All right. Before we do all that, though, let's look at the crypto markets, see where things are heading. How about that Marge impression he just did? That was pretty good, wasn't it? All right. We look at Bitcoin. We are up on the 1 hour, a whopping 0.1%, but on the 24-hour, still down 3.5%, pretty much what we were down earlier this morning. Ethereum down a little bit further, even down to 5% here, below that 1,700 range. But Bitcoin still holding strong above 23. Now, Lifer, we talked about the charts earlier, but also, kind of want to see where are things headed. Are they still looking bad? But is the money printer machine going unplugged? Is that bad news for the macro?
No. Well, we looked at the charts earlier today, and we were very macro. I like to do macro on that day show because it's once a month. We really want to see the bigger outlook. But I feel here on the blockchain, people want to see what's going on right now.
Yeah,
right?
Let's look at this 24-minute, this 20-minute, this 45 minutes. Let's look at these small time frames. That's for the true DJs.
I got the 5 second for you right here.
Hey.
Well, right now, the 4 hour is looking very bullish. Every time the 4 hour got below this line on the stochastics and below the dotted line, we pumped. And we pumped here, we pumped there. It's 4 for 4. We would be 3 for 3 right here in this pattern. Right there, right there. We would be 4 for 4 if we pump from here again. So I'm predicting and projecting that there's a 70 to 80% chance we're going to break to the upside. Also, with the 1 hour's oversold with that, and the 1 hour's below the dotted line on the RSI. Look at this. I noticed this. One of my head analysts in my trading group pointed this out to me today. Shout out to Kevin Calderonster. I love you, Kevin. And he pointed this out. He said, look, I know you don't always look at the 1 hour Stokes, Sam, as much as I do, but I was looking. It's like when we went below the dotted line, we pump. Usually I get a little pump. I never realized, but these actually gave substantial moves into bigger time frames. We're below the dotted line again on the 1 hour, and we're respecting this trend line. As long as Bitcoin keeps this trend line, for now, we're going to pump to the upside. I believe there's a good chance we pump to the upside into tonight. What we have to worry about right now is the 15-minute. The 15-minute is overbought on the Stokes and getting a little extended, and it's still, it was attempting to make a bear flag. It got pushed out. What I want right now is a short squeeze. We're looking for a short squeeze. The shorts are getting squeezed to the point where we get above a resistance. Then the 15-minute can reset or go sideways. The 1 hour and the 4 hour can bang, boom, boom, boom. So tonight's looking somewhat bullish. Last thing I want to show you is the daily candle is a bearish engulfing. If we can just get wicked up a little bit tonight in the next 3 hours into the daily candle close at 8 p.m. Eastern time, my time, this won't be engulfing. So I'd love a pump up, make this a wick, not be engulfing. And I like my odds right now on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. And we'll take it from there tomorrow.
Okay, and I think I figured out why it said ETH Marge, because like your son, we want to eat those shorts, and so it was on purpose. It was all on purpose. Wasn't BJ sitting there? Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the Fed kind of reversing course here. It looks like They're trying to rename quantitative tightening. They're, once again using their careful language here, but they were looking at, bringing in $4.7 trillion with a T in bonds and mortgage-backed securities. They purchased that from January 2020 to February 22. And of course, we saw the end result of that. 40-year high inflation, 50-year high CPI numbers, very, very loose dollar, DXY, going crazy even despite all of that. But they said they're maybe going to tighten the purse strings, so to speak. Now, Brad, I'm bringing it to you. You've been around. You were there. You were there in the 80s. Maybe you're even in a gas line. I was there. I was 6 years old in 1990, so I can't say I was driving and really doing much. 84 baby, 80s baby, hit that like button. But when it comes to inflation, just kind of using history as a guide, Volcker, he really had to get those interest rates high, double-digit numbers. Given that, do you think it's likely we have a soft landing? Is it looking bad for a soft landing, or is it are the winds favorable?
I think it's looking bad for a soft landing. And thank you so much, DZ, and all of the BitBoy squad for having me back on. And I appreciate you also letting everybody know how old I am there, buddy.
We're about the same age, right? You're maybe 10 years older. So when I was 6, you were 16. That's why I was saying, you're driving.
In 89, I got my driver's license. And back then, wasn't really paying attention to gas prices and that kind of stuff and inflation. But yeah, I think that it's pretty clear at this point that the government, they don't know their butts from a hole in the ground. None of them have any cohesiveness. You got one guy thinking this is going to help, another person that thinks this is the best way to fix some of the problems that are going on with the economy. I think we can all agree that there is nothing that's really going to fix it. All they can do is throw a little duct tape over the hole and try to stem the flow a little bit. But I think we are definitely in for more pain. I think over the next handful of years, we're going to see the middle class get wiped out more and more. And that's why I just go back to, one of my favorite things to talk about is just focusing on what you can control. Right now in this market, there's a ton of opportunity. And anytime there's pain, there's an opportunity there. And that's just what you got to focus on, man. If you can get control of this mind and control of your thoughts and be focused on the right things, even if it's miserable for a lot of humans, which I'm not happy about, it can be amazing opportunity for those of us that take advantage of it.
All right, now let's speak about that opportunity. Now, mac and cheesy, I had the opportunity to eat some mac and cheese last night. It was delicious. Shout out to Kraft. But when we're talking about, opportunity in the bear market, what opportunities are you looking at? I mean, is it I short the coin and I try to make funds by shorting coins, or are you looking for that next 100x gem, maybe that next L1 blockchain VC money might get behind? What kind of is it learning and building? What kind of opportunities are you looking at?
I think you can bet my guess. It's all about learning and building. So for me, what did I do last bear market? Well, I decided, okay, I want to get a little bit more involved. How can I do that? Well, I started working for a Bitcoin ATM company. I started doing things that weren't sexy in the industry, but I just wanted to be around the industry to learn it. And then with that, I pretty much only got paid in Bitcoin. So I started trying to get additional sources of income and take that income and convert it into cryptocurrencies that I believe long-term that post bear market, they'll survive it. And so Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of your true blue chip cryptos are going to do that, right? So as you accumulate that over time, and now it's like, okay, how can I generate other things? What are other avenues to go in? I decided to go into real estate. I started renting out my apartment for crypto, specifically Bitcoin. So exploring different ways to effectively dollar cost average into the crypto ecosystem. And it comes down to learning different skill sets. I think we're in a much better place today in the crypto ecosystem for actually finding jobs to build in this space. So if you rewind to kind of that 2017, 2018 time span where if you were looking on LinkedIn for jobs in crypto, good luck finding those jobs. Whereas right now, if you look for Web3 or you look for crypto industry, there's a ton of skill sets. And the majority of those skill sets required to deliver value to these companies are tech skills. So even if you don't get a skill in Web3 or crypto, you'll still make yourself a lot more employable for the future in the entire technical industry. So I think during the bear market, it's growing skills, making your time more valuable, accumulating USD, fiat, whatever that may be, and accumulating cryptos that you believe in, so that next bull market you can kind of really sit back and be like, all right, word. That was a good call.
Mac, he has too much integrity to say this, but you should check out In the Incubator, believe it's called. But check out his incubator. He's got great assets. They're there, great resources to learn. BitLab Academy, we got some good stuff. Also, there's just free information on YouTube you can look into, or you can just hack, hey, pay Lifer, other traders. They'll give you that crash course if time is valuable to you. So there's tons and tons of opportunities out there to learn for sure.
Best way to learn is to start building.
Yeah. And all right, Piano Matty B, glad to have you on. I kind of want to talk about the quantitative tightening / reverse repoing. There is a little bit of a difference with the quantitative tightening. They're looking at reducing the supply of money by selling their accumulated bonds. Reverse repo, they agree to purchase these securities to sell them later. Oftentimes, we're seeing the same net effect. The money slushing around is being reduced. Now, when this is all said and done, they've tightened as much as they're going to tighten, whether it's 6 months from now, 24 months from now. What other shoes do you expect to drop when it comes to these markets? Does crypto have another major leg down? Is it the real estate market? Is it stocks another leg down? Is it precious metals? Is there any industry or anything in particular you're looking at might get affected heavily?
I think all of the above. Like, I don't see any asset not kind of taking a dive at some point. But ultimately, I don't believe it, because I think we've moved from political theater to economic theater. So they can say whatever they want, and they can say they're going to do this next month, and all these announcements mean nothing. And as a trader, anyone out there knows that it's basically a 50-50 what an announcement's going to be, whether it's up or down. So you could have a good announcement, market tanks. You can have a bad announcement, market goes off. So it doesn't matter. Like, I spend most of my days thinking I'm the crazy one, because it's like, I've never seen anything like this. It's everything's on fire, yet an asset will go up, or everything seems to be recovering and everything will die. But I do think that we're going to see another leg down in almost everything, including Bitcoin.
Okay, yeah. Be careful out there, folks. The worst might yet be to come. But all right, let's talk some policy issues, specifically Circle's policy. And there was a tweet I wanted to share here, but first, we'll get to that in a second. So Circle's CEO, they're speaking out against some of the recent moves against Tornado Cash, saying this isn't nothing to do with us. Now, some funds did get essentially frozen. You could see people, they're coming out with some hot takes. Circle Pay USDC has officially blacklisted every Ethereum address sanctioned by the U.S. Secretary. Jim from Bianco Research, how does blacklisting Americans from using a crypto protocol stop North Korean hackers from using said protocol? So a lot of good points here, but this is basically what I wanted to share here. Oh, wow. Let's zoom out a little bit. A lot of people are learning about the USDC blacklist function today. To be clear, Circle can freeze USDC in any address at any time for whatever reason. This is just the risk of using centralized stablecoins. Jeremy Allaire came out. Not accurate. Not helpful. FUD. Read more. Circle freezes USD funds. So, a little bit of coming out of both sides of their mouth there. Now, Lifer, what are your thoughts when you see something like that? I mean, do you have any preference when it comes to the stable coins? Do you urge any caution about using one over the other? And what are your thoughts on the CEO's statements there? Just, kind of basically contradicting himself.
Yeah, I have a favorite stable coin. It's called Bitcoin. Yeah, it may not be stable to other people, but it's more stable to me in my mind. And what I compare what they're printing, they're printing money to zero. And the dollar has gone down in value. Bitcoin was less than a penny 10 years ago. Okay. I'm just like, that means the dollar went down a lot. Bitcoin would not have gone up that many thousands and thousands of percent. I think this is him trying to save face. I think he's in with the big boys. I think he would have done it anyway. He made this article saying, "Oh, we need to stop this," and I hope he's somewhat true, but I think he's just coming out and saying that, "Oh, we want to stop copyright because he's saying in the article that he wants to, protect copywriting on actual protocols, right? Because it's saying, where does it stop? Because some of these protocols are protecting consumers, so he's saying like we need consumer privacy, but yet you want to be able to know everything about everybody too. Where does it end? See, I'm always, we come to this a lot on this channel, on other channels. We talk about privacy. That's why we started Bitcoin in the first place. People wanted to be able to have peer-to-peer. We don't want everyone knowing our address every time I buy something. I go somewhere, think about this. This is primitive. They said the credit card will end up in, like, people will laugh about it 20, 30 years from now. Kids will go in a museum and they'll point at it and it'll be hilarious. Think about it. You go and give someone your credit card, they can take money out of your account. I got charged twice for a meal once in my life. It only happened once. They're pretty good about it. But I'm just saying, you go and give your account to everyone else, they can pull out. In crypto, you go and you send the money to them. It's a safer way to transact. It's a far superior way to transact. The old system, the legacy system, is ridiculous. They're going to attack anything that protects us and gives us privacy. They want in on us. We want away from them. This is the battle. This is crypto. Welcome.
Yeah.
This is what
it's going to be quite the battleground. Now, Mac, I want to share this tweet with you. It was tornado today. Do you think they'll stop there? Tomorrow, it'll be Uniswap. Then Ethereum. If software isn't safe, then speech isn't. I just want to end it there. First, I want to ask you, is software free speech? And what do you see as being the end game with these protocols? Are they going to go after Uniswap? Are they going to go after Ethereum?
This is why when this news came out yesterday and like the market didn't immediately react, I was kind of surprised because in my eyes, and this may be prisoner of the moment, but I feel news like this is potentially bigger news than the whole Luna fiasco. And here's why. Primarily because it is setting the precedents and it is setting kind of what we can expect can happen going forward. For example, the Tornado Cash developer got blocked from writing code on GitHub, and which is absurd. For those of you that aren't aware, so GitHub is effectively where you push code that is open source or closed source, but it's what stores the code. Imagine that like your Google Doc for writing code. So he's no longer allowed to write code on GitHub under that name. So effectively, they're stopping him from having this freedom of speech or freedom to code on this platform. And as things become more and more digital, this is effectively blocking your freedom to build and in a sense, freedom of speech. So I think this is very, very bad for crypto because of exactly what was mentioned in that tweet, right? Where do you draw the line? This is Ethereum, this is Tornado Cash, but then what's next? Where is it? Well, you're setting a precedence. You're setting that funds plus mixer equals illegal. What do you define as a mixer? Is Uniswap a mixer? What are these things? And it is scary to me because now we're allowing the government to say, oh, this crypto is illegal, which means that we're going to allow them to say the next crypto is illegal. And where do they stop? And that's the whole problem with any type of kind of regulations like this.
Yeah, and I think, a good genesis for is code, free speech or not, was the 3D printed weaponry. And, it is a very dicey subject and, it's still being battled. And you brought up a good point about it being illegal. Here we have Oxgem, Max Chaos. Someone is sending Tornado Cash to ETH to big docs wallets like Shaq, People, Randy Zuckerberg, shout out to Mark's sister there, Ben Horowitz, Brian Armstrong, Ben's uncle, Jimmy Fallon. No one has sent that DZ.ETH wallet a bunch of Tornado Cash Ethereum, but God, imagine how much that would suck. Oh, I would hate it so much, of course. Now, Brad, I want to ask you about USDC, though. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. When it comes to USDC, have you changed your mind on how you view it? Now, we know Brad isn't buying nuclear waste for North Korea. We assume. But, you're not doing anything illegal, if I had to guess. Nothing nefarious. But are you worried about USDC when you see how centralized it is? Or do you have the viewpoint of, hey, you're not doing anything wrong, you don't need to worry?
I mean, I think it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I think Mac and Cheesy brought up some amazing points, and I see, the whole panel today has been amazing. And it is nerve-wracking. It does scare me a little bit. I don't think that I have to worry too much about my USDC becoming worthless and not being able to use it over the long term. I think that what people need to remember about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is, you know, a little story that our own Ben Armstrong told. I've told this story several, I mean, dozens of times, if not 100 times. I never forget the first time I heard Ben talk about how when the automobile industry started to take over from the horse and buggy industry, and how much opposition it got, and what it had to fight through. But like Ben said, it was inevitable because the automobile industry was such a better answer to our traveling problems, and that cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is the same thing. It's inevitable, it's unstoppable. They're going to make it hard on us, and like Crypto Lifer said, this is a war. But I believe that as time goes on, more and more people are going to jump in and join the fight. I mean, you cannot take us American citizens and just, you know, any citizens around the world and treat us the way that we're getting treated and try to control us the way that we're trying to be controlled without getting some backlash, man. There's still a lot of patriots in this world, and I think that they're going to continue to join into this movement, and we're gonna be victorious. But yeah, it's going to come with a price. It's going to come with a fight. But no, man, I'm excited about our future. I'm not that scared, but it's a little nerve-wracking in the short term.
All right, now let's talk about the short term. Piano, in the short term, you got all these people sending tornado cash to random wallets. Apparently, I guess these people are assumingly breaking the law. What end game is going to happen with the Department of Justice? Are they realizing now, as 0.1 ETH is just getting sent all across the globe here, no one knows where it's coming from? No one, all it knows is, hey, Jimmy Fallon's using the same thing as North Korea. With the ridiculousness of this narrative, do you see this quietly going into the night, or is this going to be something they won't give up?
Well, you have to understand, in Canada, we've already had basically majority of wallets taken away like that.
Good point.
You're a dissident for anyone, you got your crypto wallet taken away. So I live my life now according to that. So once that happened, basically everything came off the exchanges. And I was always scared about exchanges because they have humans. And I love humans, but as soon as humans are involved in a project, it's probably inevitably going to go south, just like any relationship. Starts out nice, has a little honeymoon suite, and then eventually sours and it goes south. So when I think of USD, like, I check it every day because now I'm like, I got bit by the dog and I'm scared. So, I mean, I hope the best for all these altcoins and everything, but I like lifer, you know, stick it in Bitcoin and sleep like a baby at night.
Yeah. All right. Good advice there. All right. Let's talk a little ETH Classic. I want to lead with the chart here because we have, you know, as Ethereum moves to proof of stake, we have a lot of people with expensive graphic cards. They don't know what to do. So now ETH Classic, hey, they don't want to switch to proof of work. They want to keep it classic. Here's the all-time chart. You can see it hit those, you know, decent highs. Not really that 2017 run. I would say regular ETH did about 25x over that. If we look over the past year, hey, maybe this trend is reversing. Now, we can get into the nuts and bolts of it shortly. Now, Lifer, ETH Classic is just one of those coins that really, really rips. It's double-digit swings.
It's so
all
fun
the
to trade,
time.
isn't it? When it rips, baby. Yeah.
What are the charts saying? I mean, is the macro looking good? Is the micro looking good? Is this something that is just novices beware? What's your thesis on ETH Classic?
No, it's funny. One of the biggest trades that we hit the last few days, like a couple weeks, what is it, 5 or 6 days since it hit, was ETH Classic. Let's take a look. I mean, that's why you're getting me excited. I found it in this wedge here. You see, I drew this channel, and I love when this is one of my favorite trades. You'll see a channel, and you'll get a wedge in the channel. There's also like a cup and a handle kind of there. You see, you're cupped and you're handled, and you'll be low in the stochastics with low RSI and the MACD, and then bang, that hit for 80%. The second you said that, I whipped this up, and look, it's consolidating into a beautiful bull pennant and it's low on the stochastics on the RSI. MACD has lack of bullish momentum, falling volume with falling price. When the volume's falling down this way, see it down here, and the price is moving down, the car's moving this way, but the car's losing gas. Where are the sellers? We're losing them. By using volume and price, some people just use volume and price and they nail it. Right now, that's telling me there's like a 70 to 80% chance Ethereum Classic is going to bang for like 40%. So that looks really nice to me, honestly. And show me the charts and I'll show you the news. You'll see a bull pennant on ETH Classic. Next thing you know, people are starting to mine more on ETH Classic. I'm telling you right now, if a lot of people battle me on this and they think, get your head out of the charts, start doing fundamentals. The more I go deeper into TA, the more I think we're all psychic and we're sending information into the charts before it even happens. You can pick up on it mathematically, and then somehow it translates into real life. It becomes something of the matrix. So, I mean, Ethereum Classic bangs. I think it's going to go up to the upside. I've always had issues with this Ethereum back and forth. Can't we just stay proof of work? There's a reason why Bitcoin's never been hacked. Look at all these crazy hacks. Don't you notice every hack is a coin that is proof of stake? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, so Bitcoin has the work, man. The work keeps it secure. I'm old school. I'm still not ready to go full blown into all the new stuff yet. I'm like piano, man. Keep it in Bitcoin and keep it real. And, thank you so much for having me on the show today, too. This has been a blast. This has been an amazing panel. Mac and Cheesy, Brad, everyone has blown my mind and really given me things to think about.
No, speaking about things to think about, really, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, where all these news events kind of congregate with crazy chart lineups. And, you just gave that recent example with ETH. All the miners are switching over. But yeah,
we went over that again last week or 2 weeks ago. I think Ben chimed in on that. He was like, of course,
And multiple examples. You go back, let's just say about 2 years ago, where weirdly Tesla's quarterly report just kind of coincided with Bitcoin ready to run up, and it's revealed. So you see it again and again and again. But all right, moving on here, we're talking about ETH. I'm going to get into the technicals a little bit. So Mac, this one's probably going to be going your way here. The ETH Classic people, they're pushing against this. They don't want to go to proof of stake. They want to keep it proof of work. They say they're going to have to update a lot of mining software, wallet hardware. They're looking at some code bases, Geth, Aragon, Besu, Nethermine, all these technical terms. Can you kind of dumb it down for us normies, these people who just have monkey JPEGs? What does it mean that they have to update all this wallet info? I mean, can't they just code it up and make it happen? Why are they so hesitant here?
So this is actually one of my favorite things about Bitcoin. So I have Bitcoin miners in Oklahoma, and those are ASIC miners, which effectively means that they are specifically designed to optimize mining Bitcoin and then kind of Bitcoin Cash because it's on the same algorithm. But effectively, they are optimized for this specifically. And that means that these rigs is infrastructure that can only be leveraged for the Bitcoin ecosystem. And that means that Bitcoin itself is that much more secure because everybody in that space is incentivized to keep Bitcoin secure. Moving over to Ethereum, right? Ethereum primarily GPU miners. So GPU miners, you have the ability to mine different cryptos with these miners. So now you have the ability to kind of toggle off, switch off, and change these different things with the miner itself. So there's more flexibility. But the unfortunate reality is with this flexibility comes kind of uncertainty in a sense, right? So when you have Ethereum moving from proof of work to proof of stake, these miners are no longer needed because of the kind of this shift. So now miners as a whole who are in the Ethereum space, and this is their primary source of revenue, now they're like, okay, what do we do? How do we shift? What are the different coins that we can do? And okay, maybe we create a staking node and now people validate with us. Okay, it's just a different implementation than what they're normally used to. So change from a business operation that's heavily reliant on kind of this crypto ecosystem isn't necessarily the best thing. And that is why, personally, I mean, I love Ethereum, I love Bitcoin, but when we're talking about secure networks, Bitcoin is just a whole nother ball game because everybody who's in that game can't change it with the snap of a finger. They're in that game for the long run, whereas the Ethereum people, it's not so much the same.
All right, BJ's holding up a giant sign to me. And, he said, Cardano, also proof of stake, hasn't been hacked, to be fair, Lifer. So, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Got him.
All right, now...
Is that because nobody's using it?
I heard it has in it.
Hey, I know where you live,
I heard. Maybe it's a ghost chain. I don't know. Now, Piano Matty, I want to ask you, this is a pretty simple question, so maybe you can explain a little bit of the why behind it. Who is going to be the big winner of Ethereum switching to proof of stake? Is it going to be Ethereum? And now, hey, it's new, it's upgraded, it's better. Or Is it going to be those diehard ETH Classic maxis who just won't turn off their mining rigs? Will that cost of electricity, is so many more people doing it? Who's winning ultimately, you know, let's just say from a price perspective? I mean, what has more gains coming their way?
Well, when it comes to Ethereum, I always looked at Ethereum and Bitcoin as my city girlfriends, and Ethereum Classic and kind of all those satellite ones, more like the girlfriends you would have out at the lake. They drive a nice wakeboard. They have a lot of good friends, pretty friends that are fun to party with. But at the end of the summer, you don't want to get too close to them. You want to come back to Ethereum. So I see big gains in these, but they're just so explosive that, you know, you're going to get caught up in it and your heart's going to get broken. You're going to come back to the city, and hopefully Ethereum and Bitcoin are still there waiting for you.
All right. I like that. Always good metaphors.
Who broke Matty's heart, man?
Man, hey, it is. Go back, watch some of that old content. It's really, really good stuff. All right, now, Brad, I want to bring up Vitalik. He's speaking out fiercely against any hard fork. He's asking these proof of work enthusiasts to support the switch to proof of stake. He's saying hard fork supporters are exchange owners looking to make quick money. Do you think that's a fair assessment? I mean, are we just going after them on a environmental FUD? Is this profit motive? What is the reasoning for everybody attacking ETH Classic people, just trying to keep things the way they are? What's your assessment on that?
You know, this is the topic that really isn't my strongest suit. I've been in crypto now for 5 plus years, and I am I can say that I've never bought 1 penny worth of ETH Classic. I've never bought any of the Bitcoin forks. I've kind of just stuck with the main players, kind of like what Matty just said. I think that at the end of the day, no fork from Ethereum is going to overtake the main Ethereum that we're all using right now. So I do think that's solidarity and everybody coming together and supporting this merge would be the best thing for everybody. I don't think that these factions that want to split off and create these forks and create these new tokens are good overall for the growth of Ethereum network and for the growth of the industry. And so I kind of lean in, I don't always agree with Vitalik, that's for sure. But in this particular case, I would love to see more support, less people fighting it. I think once it's all in place, and then you get the EIP 1559 rolling, we can have a smooth network, we can have a fast network, we can have a cheap network, and Ethereum is probably going to be the #1 market cap token here in the not too distant future. I totally expect it to flip Bitcoin. I still love Bitcoin, but I do think Ethereum is probably going to be the #1 cryptocurrency over the upcoming years.
Okay. All right. Good points. And I think with that little tirade there, I don't know. I heard the noise. It didn't give you the point. You probably heard 4 chimes, but it went up twice. But yeah, it looks like Brad, I think that's a wrap. And you got the most points. You narrowly edged out the other guests here. Brad, feel free to tell us about that buying gas in 1989 as a 16-year-old. No, feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts. Anything you want to share, buddy.
Man, it feels so great to win. I've been on the show a handful of times. This is the first time that I won. So thank you everybody out there that made that happen. But I really want to use my time to shine the light on everybody else that was here today. Matty Piano, you did an amazing job. Congratulations on doing fantastic on your first time here on the show. And then Mac and Cheesy, I'd never been on a show with you before. I'd seen you, but it was a real pleasure to actually get to listen to you and really, get to digest what you say. And then Crypto Lifer, always a pleasure. But these guys are fantastic, and I really think you are doing yourself a disservice if you just listen to them for the 10 minutes or so that they got today. Go check out the links in the description. Go follow these guys. Make sure you throw a like on this video and support, around the blockchain and BitBoy Crypto. And just once again, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on this show. I appreciate it.
And if you want to do one final thing to help us out, Frankie's going live in about 10 minutes. Link is in the description. Of course, check out. You better be subbed to all our guests. I'm coming after you if you're not subbed to them. So they're making great content out there. All right, that's all we got time for, BitSquad. Until next time, easy out.